Tonight, Singapore will be doubling its efforts in wastewater surveillance for detecting Covid-19 transmission. In the court, a woman was found guilty of forcing her maid to shower in front of her and other acts of abuse. And Novena Global Healthcare's co-founder Terence Low was declared bankrupt with debts of $70 million. This is the Straits Times Newsnight. Good evening, I'm Dylan Ang. With Covid-19 becoming endemic, something we'll be seeing a lot more of in Singapore is wastewater surveillance. Managed by the National Environment Agency, the number of sites under wastewater testing surveillance is set to double to more than 400 sites by next year. Now, these include residential areas, student hostels, nursing homes, as well as workers' dormitories. NEA said that viral fragments in wastewater detected more than 15 cases of Covid-19 in June alone. And in areas where clusters are present, surveillance is conducted for a period of time until the wastewater samples test negative.
So for a surveillance site such as this, negative signals provide the added assurance that the area is free from transmission, and it allows MOH to use the testing resources more effectively. However, if there are positive signals, it will then prompt for clinical swab testing of the residents in the area.
Two of the three co-chairs of the Covid-19 task force, Trade and Industry Minister Gan Kim Yong and Health Minister Ong Ye Kung, were shown how wastewater samples are collected in a residential site. Now, this type of surveillance is part of Singapore's Test, Trace and Vaccinate Covid-19 strategy, and it complements swab operations and clinical testing in detecting Covid-19 transmission. As for the third co-chair of the Covid-19 task force, well, he's off to Venice. Finance Minister Lawrence Wong sharing this photo on social media as he was about to get on the plane to Italy. Mr. Wong saying that it's his first overseas work trip in more than a year. At the G20 Finance Ministers meeting in Venice, he'll be discussing global economic trends, including the upcoming changes in the international corporate tax system. Looking at the Covid-19 situation here, 16 new cases were confirmed today, with 3 in the community. Now, of these, 2 are unlinked and the remaining 1 linked to a previous case. 13 imported infections were also confirmed. In the meantime, Singapore remains on track to achieve its vaccination targets, with 50% of the population expected to have received both shots around July 26. Now, it's all part of the goal to transition to living with a virus that is endemic, with the next milestone being August 9th, when 2/3 of the population are set to be fully vaccinated.
So the only caveat I would say to that is that later this year, hopefully, we should have confirmation that vaccination of younger children under the age of 12 is safe. And at that point, we might be able to vaccinate another 10% or so of the population. Pediatric COVID is quite mild though, so I'm not convinced that waiting to be able to vaccinate under 12s is a good reason to delay reopening. If there's no one waiting to get vaccinated, I see no epidemiological benefit to doing so.
And blame it on Covid-19, this year's SEA Games has been postponed to next year. A huge disappointment for the athletes who were hoping to compete in Hanoi from November 21st to December 2nd. A new date has yet to be determined, but it's looking tricky next year, with the Winter Olympics taking place in February, the Commonwealth Games in July, and the Asian Games in September. And with just 2 weeks to go before the Olympics, a state of emergency has been declared in Tokyo that will last through the entire Games. Under the new Covid-19 measures, spectators at events will be capped at 5,000 people or 50% of venue capacity, whichever is less. Alcohol will be banned at bars and restaurants, which will have to close by 8 p.m. The emergency will be in place until August 22nd, well after the Games are over. In local news, a woman who forced her Indonesian helper to shower with the toilet door open, claiming that she was smelly, was today convicted of 6 charges. 33-year-old Rosdiana Abdul Rahim inflicted abuse on Miss Mayang Sari in 2017, including forcing her to get dressed in front of open windows and pouring baby powder all over her face until her eyes hurt. Rosdiana will be sentenced next month. Also in court news, Terence Low, co-founder of Novena Global Healthcare, has been declared bankrupt. He has total outstanding debts of about 70 million with 5 banks, stemming from personal guarantees for the loans held by NGH, and had tried to enter into a voluntary arrangement with his creditors to repay them. Now, he's one half, of course, of the Low cousins who made the news last August with a takeover bid for English football club Newcastle United under the Bellegraph Nova Group. Let's take a look at what's been trending on social media today. Could this be Roger Federer's final goodbye at Wimbledon? A distressing sight for fans as they witness the 39-year-old crashing out in straight sets. The 20-time Grand Slam winner lost in the quarterfinals to Poland's Hubert Hurkacz, a man 15 years his junior. It was only Federer's 14th defeat at Wimbledon in 119 matches and only the 3rd time he received a bagel set of 6-love in his career. A tough loss for the maestro, who said he now has to take a few days and regroup, but insisted he will not be rushed into retirement even as his 40th birthday beckons.
Take my time, not feel rushed by you guys or anybody else for that matter. You know, I got to take my time and take the right decision, and the one decision I want to take, you know, and where I feel most comfortable. The goal is to play, of course.
Still on tennis, what about this from superstar Naomi Osaka, who recently made headlines after withdrawing from the French Open, citing mental health reasons. The 23-year-old 4-time Grand Slam champion is the star of a new Netflix documentary series. The self-titled 3-part series will offer viewers an intimate look into the life of one of the most gifted athletes of her generation, and an insight into the decisions and triumph that shape her as she navigates a pressure-filled world. Osaka, of course, will be back in action at the upcoming Olympic Games in Tokyo. What can I say? Very excited to watch this when it airs July 16th. And good news for all you foodies out there, the Michelin Guide Singapore and the Bib Gourmand list is back after a hiatus last year due to the pandemic. A new Young Chef Award will also be awarded to a chef under 36 from a Michelin-star restaurant. Now, the virtual event will take place on September 1st after the Bib Gourmand list is released on August 12th. And that wraps up the Straits Times Newsnight. Do visit straitstimes.com to see more news and videos, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the button below. Keep safe. I'll see you tomorrow.